You ever have a show that you like, even if others don't really like it or even know about it? We all have those type of shows. So today, we're going to talk about a show that I honestly like, even though it isn't as popular in the grand scheme. Today, we are talking about Galactic Drifter Vifam. Galactic Drifter Vifam is an anime that originally aired in fall of 1983. It had a total of 46 episodes, and the plot goes as follows. A war broke out between humans and a hostile alien race. After an attack on the world Clyad, a group of civilians managed to escape the war zone. However, the battle does not end there as their ship is constantly under fire. Before long, the crew is down to 13 children, ranging from young kids to older teens, the goal being making it back to their parents. There are two aspects I want to talk about when it comes to Vifam that makes this one of my go-to for real robot anime. The first I want to talk about is about the designs, both characters and mecha. The character designs are drawn appropriately. The cast consists of children from babies to older teens, and the designs fit that. This helps drive the point home that these are children fighting in a war, as opposed to say Gundam, where the children and teens look more like young adults. Next is the mecha designs. Unlike other mech anime, Vifam has a pretty interesting split. On the one hand, we have the alien machines that are unique and borrow heavily from Zeon forces of Gundam, and the Super Robot era prior. Which makes perfect sense, as the mech designer for Vifam is the legendary Kunio Okiwara, who is famous for pretty much every mech design ever. On the flip side, we have Earth's very bland machines, again designed by Kunio Okiwara. They look more like mass production models from the Gundam series. Wait a minute. Weird. The idea of having generic looking machines, at least to me from the mentality set by the Gundam franchise, really hammers in just how outmatched these kids are. Also, not having an overly busy or flashy design is a plus in my opinion, which in all honesty kinda kills the idea of a real robot to me. The second aspect is writing. Vifam, in my honest opinion, does a better job of telling a child-centered war story than say Gundam. The creators of this show, Takayuki Hanada, who directed 08th MS Team, and Hiroyuki Hoshiyama, who worked on various works like Dirty Pair and the original Mobile Suit Gundam, did a great job along with the character designs, emphasizing that this is about children. We have episodes focused around the children learning how to fend for themselves, episodes about them breaking down due to stress about the situation, episodes about them coming to terms with reality, and even episodes about them just being kids. With some notable characters being the main character Roddy, the pilot of the Vifam, a 14-year-old forced to pilot the mobile weapon, having to come to terms with using the machine and putting his life on the line. Or even Scott and Claire, the oldest of the group. They do what they can to keep the younger children calm, while coming to terms with the possibility that they won't make it alive, and the responsibility of the crew's lives. Scott especially, he reminds me more of an out-of-place or alternate version of Bright Noah. In the end, the writing does a great job at capturing what it is to be a kid, teenager, and soon to be adult, and the social interactions in between. Now, I'm sure you've noticed I've made a lot of comparisons to Mobile Suit Gundam, and there's good reason for that. Tomino, the creator of Mobile Suit Gundam, was producer for this show. While I don't know how far his influence went, the similarities in characters and themes are definitely present. In fact, if you actually scroll through and look up who made this show, you'll see a lot of big names from various shows of the era. They've all kind of came together to work on this. Another reason why I really do enjoy this show is because of the lack of military personnel. Early on, the crew of the ship is killed off, leaving the children isolated and adrift in space, doing all they can to find their parents. Which is kind of my problem with, say, Gundam. At the end of the day, while the crew, operators, and navigation are gone, we still have other people from the military in the ship, and even then, they are constantly being contacted by the main military forces. That's not to say that they don't make contact in Vifam, but it is far and few in between, and the whole crew is nothing but children. The other thing I like about this show is the crew has a set goal. It isn't defeating the bad guys or winning the war, it is finding their parents. And above all, the show emphasizes the one thing that children can do, and that is looking past the mistakes of adults and the differences between others. For a show that is buried under such giants in anime like Yururushi Yatsura, Dr. Slump, and the original Macross, it does pretty well, a hidden gem if one will. If this show interests you in any way, but the episode count is too much, track down the recap OVAs. There are 2 of them, and each run about 50 minutes or so. But I'm honestly not sure how it treats the overall story or if it takes anything away, so you're kinda going in blind on that one. Vifam's legacy isn't that grand. With a few expansions of the show here and there, with little positive feedback, the series did produce a fair set of model kits from Bandai and other figures of the Vifam itself. Even to this day, we have a few Bandai Robot Tamashii figures to my pleasant surprise, even a P Bandai of the training Vifam. While it may live in the shadows of other shows, it definitely shines on its own. So while I was researching this episode, here's a little fun fact I came across. Masako Nozawa, Goku's voice actor in Japan, is actually in Vifam. I thought that was pretty neat. The other thing is, and I probably should have talked about this in the episode, the opening theme to Vifam is the best opening song ever, and I will defend that forever. It's the best song.